Hello, welcome Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 25 Urbanization we are continuing our topic social effects of urbanization in India and our subtopic is urban politics. Rao has identified four problems areas in the study of political institutions, organization and processes in the urban context. Formal political structure, informal political organizations, small town politics and violence. There is a formal political structure, municipal corporation government, where national, regional and local political parties compete for positions of power. Lloyd Rudolph's essay on populist government in Madras outlines the struggle for power in the Madras Corporation and shows the decisive dominance of the DMK, a regional political party. It also reveals the control exercised by the party leaders in the context of anti-Brahmin movement and the populist support the party has acquired. The study brings out clearly the relationship between urbanization and the changing power structure. Besides formal structures of power, informal political organizations operate through caste, religion and sectarian groups and the occupational categories. Associations formed on these lines acquire political dimensions in so far as they act as pressure groups, and in some cases they even form part of organized political parties. Lynch's study of the politics of untouchability describes the processes by which the Jatvas become a politically viable group in Agra cities. It is significant to note that they form part of the Republican Party to compete for position of power at the city, state and national levels. A third aspect of politics in the urban context refers to small town politics, where elites, factions or ethnic groups more than political parties are significant in understanding the power structure. Ethnic groups get politicized and act as vote bank and pressure groups, articulating their interest and compete for various benefits of urban life. This results in a situation of conflict between ethnic group and between the migrant ethnic group and the locals. A.C. Mayer, in his study of municipal election in Devas in Madhya Pradesh, analyzed the networks and action sets of influential leaders. R.G. Fox showed that a Muslim Bania conflict characterized the politics in a small town in Uttar Pradesh. There has been a shift in the authority from the Muslim Jamindar to enterprising Baniyas. Another important feature of urban politics is violence resulting from communal conflict, political disturbance, student strikes and regional armies such as the Shiv Sena in Bombay. Besides these problems of urban violence, Tagore and Kothari have drawn attention to the political implications of urbanization. Different conflict situations have arisen with the growth of the urbanization, such as unemployment and slums, which contribute to political instability. Lynch studied political mobilization and ethnicity among the Adi Dravidian in Bombay slum, who are a low-ranking caste from South India and who have migrated to Bombay. Here, different political parties compete for their vote. One party calls on them to identify as untouchables on all India basis. Another party bids them to remember their South Indian roots. The way in which the Adi Dravidian define themselves politically is thus related both to their position in Bombay as rural migrant from another region and to their caste. Now let us move to the next point, problems of urbanization. The pattern of urbanization in India has been marked by regional and interstate diversities, large-scale rural to urban migration, insufficient infrastructural facilities, growth of slums, and other allied problems. Some of the important problems of urbanization faced in different parts of the India are as follows. The first is housing and slums. There is acute shortage of housing in urban area and much of the available accommodation is qualitatively of substandard variety. This problem has tended to worsen over the years due to the rapid increase in population, fast rate of urbanization and proportionally inadequate addition to the housing stock. Millions of people pay excessive rent which is beyond their means. In our profit-oriented economy, private developers and colonizers find little profit in building houses in cities for the poor and the lower middle class, and they concentrate in meeting the housing needs of the rich as it is gainful. With large-scale migration to urban areas, many find that the only option they have is substandard conditions of slum. Slums are characterized by substandard housing, overcrowding, lack of electrification, ventilation, sanitation, roads, and drinking water facilities. They have been the breeding ground of diseases, environmental pollution, demoralization, and many social tensions. With India's slum population standing at nearly 40%, slum dwellers form 44% of the population in Delhi, 45% in Mumbai, 42% in Calcutta, and 39% in Chennai. Now the next point is overcrowding. In major cities in India like Bombay, Calcutta, Pune and Kanpur, between 85% and 90% of households live in one or two rooms. In some homes, 5 to 6 persons live in one room. Overcrowding encourages deviant behavior, spreads diseases and creates conditions for mental illness, alcoholism and riots. One effect of dense urban living is people's apathy and indifference. Oscar Levy's culture of poverty was an attempt to develop a model of the behavior of poor in a variety of cultural settings. It is a distinct way of life that develops among the lowest stratum in capitalist societies in response to economic deprivation and inequality. Once people adapt to poverty, attitudes and behaviors that initially developed in response to economic deprivation are passed on to subsequent generations through socialization. The next point is water supply, drainage and sanitation. No city has round-the-clock water supply in India. Intermittent supply results in a vacuum being created in empty water lines which often suck in pollutants. Through leaking joints, many small towns have no main water supply at all and are dependent on the wells. Drainage situation is equally bad. Because of the non-existence of the drainage system, large pools of stagnant water can be seen in city even in summer months. Removing garbage, cleaning drains and unclogging sewers are the main jobs of the municipalities and municipal corporations in Indian cities. There is a total lack of motivation to tackle the basic sanitation needs of the city. The spread of slums in congested urban areas and lack of civic sense among the settlers in these slums further adds to the growing mold of the filth and diseases. The next point is transportation and traffic. Absence of planned and adequate arrangements for traffic and transport is another problem in urban centers in India. Majority of people use buses and tempos while a few use rail as transit system. The increasing number of two-wheelers and cars make the traffic problem worse. They cause air pollution as well. Moreover, the number of buses plying the metropolitan cities is not adequate and commuters have to spend long hours to travel. The next point is power shortage. Power supply has remained insufficient in a majority of the urban centers in India. The use of electrical gadgets had increased in cities and establishment of new industries and the expansion of the old ones has also increased dependence on electricity. Conflict over power supply between two states often creates a severe power crisis for people in the cities. Now the next point is pollution. Our towns and cities are major polluters of the environment. Several cities discharge 40 to 60% of their entire sewage and industrial effluents untreated into the nearby rivers. Urban industry pollutes the atmosphere with smoke and toxic gases from its chimneys. All these increases the chances of the disease among the people living in the urban centers. According to UNICEF, lakhs of urban children die or suffer from diarrhea, tetanus, measles, etc. because of the poor sanitary conditions and water contamination. As a long-term remedy, what is needed is using new techniques of waste collection, new technology for garbage disposal, and fundamental change in the municipal infrastructure and land use planning. All the above mentioned urban problems are because of the migration and over-urbanization, industrial growth, apathy and insufficiency of the administration and defective town planning. Solutions to urban problems lie in systematical development of urban centers and creation of job opportunities. Regional planning along with the city planning, encouraging industries to move to backward areas, adopting a pragmatic housing policy and structural decentralization of local self-government itself. Now let us conclude the unit. As we can see, urbanization is an ongoing phenomena which is very difficult to capture through any single approach or analysis, especially in India. In this unit, we have tried to capture different aspects of urbanization, the history to present situation, the various approaches to study urbanization, and the problems and consequences of urbanization. We find that it is a process which is linked to many larger structures and processes. As globalization process is speeding up, connecting the world unprecedented way, there is a suggestion that cities throughout the world will come to exhibit organizational forms increasingly similar to one another as technology becomes more accessible throughout the global system. Some theorists suggest that increasingly divergent forms of the urban organization are likely to emerge due to differences in the timings and the pace of the urbanization process, differences in position of the cities within the global system, and increasing effectiveness of deliberate planning of the urbanization process by centralized governments holding differing values and therefore pursuing a variety of goals for the future. Here we want to close this lecture and we have come to the end of the unit. Thanks for listening.